North Texas. This is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Michaela Goose.
And I'm Edison Mesa.
In a developing story tonight, the COVID virus is now having a direct impact on your ability to vote here in Denton County.
We'll have that story in a moment, but first, an issue that affects millions of Americans and thousands of Texans: food insecurity. UNT is one of many universities across the country with students worried about not having enough to eat. ntTV's Nathan Mayer has more with what UNT is doing to help students. Nathan?
That's right, Edison. We live in a world that wastes so much food. And while the current problem on everyone's mind is the coronavirus pandemic, the one problem that goes unseen is that of not having enough to eat. And UNT's campus is no different. UNT has a food pantry here at Crumley Hall that assists anyone in need of not having enough food. They take donations from anyone in the community that can help, and some of the items they are in need for the coming 2020-2021 year are vegetables, frozen foods, and toiletries. For more information, look up UNT Food Pantry on Google. Now, not only is going hungry a problem across campuses around the U.S., but it's a problem all around the globe. Michaela Goose has more information on how this problem is affecting people all over the world. Michaela?
Thanks, Nathan. The same issues that UNT and Denton face are also faced by millions around the world, with the coronavirus only making things worse. Tomorrow is World Food Day, and in 2019 alone, the United Nations reported that nearly 690 million people worldwide went hungry. UNT Vice President and former committee member for the World Food Prize, Mark McClellan, says that includes millions of Americans.
Many of us, we can go without some food. We can be hungry, but I'll tell you what, there is nothing more devastating than for a parent to look at children who are looking at you saying, "We're hungry."
Hunger in U.S. households has nearly tripled in the last 2 years, and the impact of COVID-19 is expected to make it even worse. 20% of Texans are expected to face serious hunger issues this year. You can reach out to the North Texas Food Bank for more information and how you can help in the fight against hunger here and around the world.
COVID-19 is making an impact on the Denton County in ways we did not anticipate. Today, the city closed operations at the North Branch Library on Locust Street because a staff member tested positive for the virus. The library is also an early voting location. However, officials say the polling area is not affected because the staff member was not involved in early voting and no voters were exposed. The polling areas and library will undergo cleaning tonight and will reopen Friday, October 30th, the last day of early voting. But one polling location in Denton County has closed down because of the virus. One worker has tested positive at the Frederick P. Herring Recreation Center in Louisville. The location is undergoing deep cleaning and will reopen 7 a.m. tomorrow with new poll workers. Meanwhile, Kayla Holt is live at the Gateway Center with more on the record turnout in Denton. Kayla?
Thanks, Edison. After only 2 days of early voting in Denton County, the turnout has nearly doubled what it was the first 2 days of early voting in the 2016 election. Just yesterday, nearly 33,000 people have already voted. Early voting began on Tuesday and will continue until October 30th. For a full list of voting locations, visit www.votedenton.com. Luckily, the lines here at the Gateway Center have been relatively short, but unfortunately, I cannot say the same for other parts of the country. Nadia Ramiro has the latest.
We are excited and we are determined to vote.
Voters in Harris County, Texas, shattering records again Wednesday, with more than 100,000 votes cast on day 2 of early voting.
I just want to say, wow, Harris County, you did it. We're seeing democracy at work, regardless of who you vote for, regardless of what party affiliation you have.
California has already received 1.5 million vote-by-mail ballots. That's 10 times the amount sent in by this time in 2016. In Georgia, more than 10% of the 7.6 million registered voters have already cast their vote.
Georgia voters are excited and setting records every hour.
And in Florida, a historic turnout is expected in Miami-Dade County.
With historic turnout, there are going to be lines. My objective here is to make sure that the lines are moving and that people are able to vote conveniently.
Now, on day one of early voting in Tennessee Wednesday, determined voters face similar circumstances as early voters in other states, braving long lines to cast their votes.
What people need to do is be patient and understand that longer doesn't mean something wrong is going on. Our goal is to count every vote accurately.
I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
Thanks, Kayla. The weather is nice out, so waiting in line to vote should not be too miserable. Isn't that right, Michaela?
That is right, Edison. It has been pretty windy outside today. Let's go over to our weather anchor, Jordan Miller, to take a first look at the weather.
That's right, Michaela. We did certainly get some stronger winds in today, and with those winds came a cold front that's giving us some pretty cool temperatures. Right now, we've got 72 degrees outside with 15 to 20 mile per hour wind speeds and cloudy skies bringing in those cooler temperatures. If we go ahead and look at tonight, you're going to see those temperatures are going to get even colder with the low 60s at 62, feeling even colder at 61, and still pretty strong wind speeds at 11 miles per hour. Moving into tomorrow, though, we're back up to the low 70s with really nice weather. That sun's going to come out, so make sure you bring your sunglasses to your in-person classes that you're going to. And we've got 8 mile per hour wind speeds. Now, if you want to see how the rest of the week is going to shape up, make sure you stick with us. That's all I have for weather right now. Back to you.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, a few soon-to-be graduates are not too happy with the way UNT has planned to honor them. Yesterday, the university told students it will hold an in-person commencement ceremony in November. However, with a different look than a traditional graduation. The ceremony is set to take place at Apogee Stadium in November with limited tickets to ensure social distancing. Students will not cross the stage or have their individual names called during the ceremony. Graduates are expected to stay in their assigned seats throughout the event to listen to guest speakers.
Seems to be not fair that they're allowing football games to take place, but they're not allowing us to walk the stage. It makes no sense that we can sit 6 feet apart in a stadium and listen to a speech with mask on, but we can't walk across the stage 6 feet apart with mask on.
There is a petition on social media asking for the university to allow graduates the opportunity to cross the stage in a socially distant format. We reached out to the university for comment and have not heard back yet. Today, we had the opportunity to see a rare sighting not seen for years.
And if you're a student and a golfer, I'll have some good news for you after the break. While the season brings falling temperatures and leaves it seem COVID-19 has no intention of doing the same. This fall, cases are expected to surge, killing potentially hundreds of thousands, overwhelming hospitals, and bringing economic trouble. With CNN's Camila Bernal with the info.
COVID-19 is surging around the country.
Over the course of the past 3 weeks, we've seen an alarming spike in COVID patients who require admission.
Increasing hospitalizations stressing healthcare services in parts of the Midwest.
It means that we're not able to give the kind of care that we truly want to give to the entire community.
The pandemic also continuing to take its toll on the economy. 898,000 American workers filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week.
A lot of us in the hospitality industry are going to have to reinvent ourselves.
Weekly claims have fallen a long way since peaking in late March, but the improvements have slowed to a snail's pace in recent weeks, and new jobless claims have begun rising.
We're just fighting for our lives.
But in Washington, D.C., stimulus negotiations are at a standstill.
Getting something done before the election and executing on that would be difficult.
With the deal in question, Wall Street opening sharply in the red on Thursday. Investors also skittish amid surging coronavirus cases in Europe. Leaders there imposing new restrictions to slow the spread. Health experts warning people in the U.S. and abroad to brace for a difficult road ahead.
Our new normal means we are going to have to be living with this for some time and make some sacrifices, but put the work in.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
A Denton man is in custody facing 2 counts of murder in the shooting deaths of his girlfriend and her teenage son. According to Aubrey police, 39-year-old Corey Washington was arrested early yesterday morning outside the home he shared with his 37-year-old girlfriend and her 18-year-old son, Donovan Fielder. After Washington was taken into custody, officers found Robinson's body in the neighbor's yard and Fielder's body inside their home. Washington is being held in the Denton County Jail with bonds set at $1 million. COVID-19 numbers aren't the only ones surging. The virus has also caused an increase in online scams. With people being more active on the internet due to social distancing, it has become easier for scammers to exploit online victims. The UNT, TW, and Denton police departments are teaming up to help the community identify the red flags.
The biggest thing is just to, it's easy for anybody to get caught up in a scam, or, because they could accidentally click, links and things like that. All the, phishing, I'm sure you guys know about phishing, where it's stuff that looks legitimate and you click on links and it's not in a scam of itself, but it gets information from you that they can use.
The other type of scam to look out for right now is people reaching out about online voting. That is not legitimate, and it's important you never release personal information. Now, the one thing that is not a scam, though, is Lucky. I personally have yet to see the famous albino squirrel.
I am right there with you, Michaela. However, our own cameras were able to capture Lucky enjoying the nice weather, and for those who doubted his existence, here's the proof.
Yeah, guys, take a look at this video of Lucky having an outdoor lunch today here on campus. It really looks like he pulled out his fluffier winter coat for this cooler weather that we got today. And we always love seeing Lucky out and about. And another thing we love is temperatures down in the 70s, which is exactly what we got today here in North Texas. As you can see across the board here, we've got temperatures in the low 70s and mid 70s, and even getting into the high 60s with McKinney and Paris and Sulphur Spring at 63 and 67. Now we're getting cooler temperatures here up north, but if we zoom out and look at the rest of the state, not everyone can say the same thing. As you can see down in Austin, they've got temperatures at 86, so feeling really warm there. Over in El Paso at 79, and then up in Amarillo, cooler like us at 63. Now, these are pretty good temperatures, but if you want to see what the rest of the week looks like, here I have it for you right now. We've got warmer temperatures coming this weekend with a high of 78 on Saturday and a low of 66, and then clouds coming in through the rest of the week with partly cloudy skies on Sunday and heating up to 84 with a low of 55. Moving through the beginning of our work week, we've got temperatures in the high 70s and, like I said, those cloudy skies. So, make sure you get out and enjoy the nice weather, and maybe you'll have a chance to see Lucky the squirrel yourself. That's all I have for weather. Back to you.
Thanks, Jordan. UNT's golf program is getting a major upgrade that will allow student athletes to own their skills closer than before. Christine has the story.
Thanks, Edison. For many years, the UNT golf team has had to travel off campus for practices. But with Brezzy Westheimer's great contribution of $1.5 million, UNT Athletics will be able to change just that. A state-of-the-art on-campus practice facility is currently under construction and will be a game changer for the golf program.
The project began when longtime UNT donor Bruzzy Westheimer approached athletic operations about the challenges the student athletes faced when traveling from campus to the practice facility in Carrollton, Texas.
To have a practice facility that's so close to campus and on campus would be a tremendous asset. And so Mr. Westheimer saw the value in that and said, hey, I want to make this happen. And so that really kick-started our conversations and planning to make this a reality.
Construction began this past May, and the crew has already made significant progress. The outdoor work has been completed as grass and turf takes root before the winter season. And in just a few weeks, construction of the clubhouse will begin.
This facility is great in that it gives our student athletes the things they need to practice all aspects of their game. We've got a big chipping green that they can utilize. We've got a large putting area. Obviously right here have a driving range where they can go out and look at various targets that they want to try to hit and hone their skills on. Then you've got the actual clubhouse, which is going to be about 5,000 square feet. And within that, you've got space, you've got locker rooms, coaches' offices. You also have players' lounge and study area.
We are so excited. It's going to change the whole dynamics of the golf program. We're going to be able to recruit a different brand of player and make the players better as they're here.
Jared Mosley says the goal is to get through the winter months and have the facility up and running by the spring of 2021. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Christine. One groundhog found themselves the unlikely winner of a standoff.
And bacon is giving masks a whole new smell. We'll have more after the break.
Today we have the opportunity to take a closer look at an air show coming to Aliens Airport. Ben Taylor has more with this story.
Thanks, guys. I'm out here at the Fort Worth Alliance Airport, home of the annual Fort Worth Alliance Air Show. This year's show will be taking place on Saturday and Sunday, and as you can see, I've got a fighter jet behind me. But this isn't any normal F-16. This is actually a U.S. Air Force Thunderbird. Now, earlier in the day, I spoke with Lieutenant Colonel Coles about what is different about this year's air show being a drive-in air show, and he had this to say.
We've all had to change a lot of our routines, this whole country, for sure. So drive-in show, a little bit different. We unfortunately aren't able to get out with the people and mingle and meet, sign autographs, take pictures. I mean, that's the fun stuff, right? Getting out and talking to everybody, giving out stickers to kids and shaking hands and everything. That's the good stuff. Right. So unfortunately, we can't get out and do that anymore. So we had to curtail a lot of that. Now we just come in, we do the show, we fly around, and then that's about it. So the show itself hasn't really changed. We're still doing the demo in the same way that we were before. But yeah, the meet and greet, that has been limited significantly. We're hoping to get back to that next year.
Now, this year's show will also feature the F-35 demonstration team, as well as my favorite, the A-10 Thunderbolt. All tickets for this year's show have sold out, but you can actually buy a ride on this beautiful B-2 bomber here in the distance, the Yankee Lady. For more information on that, visit the Fort Worth Aviation Museum on Facebook. Now, I'll be here all weekend at the Alliance Air Show, so I'll have more highlights next week, as well as more from my interview with Lieutenant Colonel Coles, Thunderbird number 9. But for now, we're going to take some pictures of these beautiful airplanes. Back to you guys in the studio.
Now everyone knows the classic underdog story, but what about the classic underhog story? The story of one groundhog standing his ground against a bobcat. Suzanne Goldklink spoke with the Connecticut homeowner who caught it on camera.
You're just pulling up your driveway. You're not expecting to see something like that.
On Buckingham Ridge Road, bobcats are usually lawnmowers.
I was trying to figure out what it was. I really didn't know what it was. I'm like,
Tuesday morning, David Drew saw the real thing.
got a little standoff here.
Caught on camera squaring off with a smaller, slower creature.
I really thought the groundhog was in big trouble.
But this groundhog stood its ground.
I think the groundhog knew that if he turned and ran, that was going to be it for him.
Staring down the larger, faster foe.
Really have to tell you, I was rooting for the groundhog. You know, we have groundhogs around here, and you know, you don't want to have to see one of them get taken down by the bobcat.
Dave honked his horn, but man's best friend probably saved the day.
The dogs in my car started barking at the two of them, and the groundhog took the moment the bobcat was distracted by the dogs to bolt.
The Drew family now has quite the story.
When I saw it, I was like, that was cool.
And a new respect for nature.
I'm not about to go running around chasing a bobcat. That's not really something I signed up for.
The bobcat is Connecticut's top predator and surely one you don't want to run into. Now, will those bobcats really seem tough? But you know who else is tough? Dak Prescott. Am I right, Sarah?
You're right, Michaela. Dak is tough as nails. I have an injury on Dak's injury and a fun esports update right after the break. Stick around. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott released his first statement since suffering a season-ending ankle injury on Sunday against the Giants. Dak thanked fans for their support and assured everyone that he is in good spirits.
Good enough for all your love, your support, your prayers over the last few days. They've been more than overwhelming, from teammates to family to friends to fans I don't know to former and current players around the league and players around all sports. I just wanted to say thank you. They're definitely appreciated and received well. Ready to start this road to comeback. I know this little adversity is just going to be another chapter in the book. I'm excited to move forward and write it.
Owners Jerry and Stephen Jones have assured fans that Dak will be a part of the Cowboys' future once he makes that comeback. But for now, backup Andy Dalton moves up to QB1. Dalton impressed in the fourth quarter of Sunday's game, leading the team to a narrow victory over the Giants. The boys will face Kyler Murray and the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Conference USA decided to push back the CUSA Football Championship to Friday, December 18th to create 2 additional weeks to schedule games that were postponed due to COVID-19. The game was originally scheduled for December 5th, and unfortunately for the Mean Green, it doesn't look like they'll be playing in it either way this year. While the CUSA Championship got pushed back, the 10th Annual League of Legends World Championship began their knockout round early this morning, and ntTV's Edward Brady has the story.
Legends is one of the most popular games in the world. In fact, according to the developers, Riot Games, it has over 115 million people playing it.
But did you know it also has a competitive scene? One so well developed, it's been compared to traditional sports leagues like the NFL and NBA. Everything all these players, teams, and coaches have worked up to culminates in one massive tournament at the end of the year, the League of Legends World Championship.
But it's always really exciting. It's kind of what all of the professional players and teams look forward to. They do want to do well in their own leagues, but once they kind of hit that top level, they're really looking, the whole year they're looking towards Worlds. So everything they do throughout the year, even in their own national league, is in preparation for Worlds.
The League of Legends World Championship is one of the biggest esports events of the year. According to Esports Insider, over 137 million people tuned in to watch the tournament over its 1-month-long runtime, And in the finals, which consisted of Europe's G2 Esports and China's Fun Plus Phoenix, there was a peak of 44 million unique viewers. This year, 22 teams from 11 regions all around the world gathered to play for the Summoners Cup. According to esports charts, the tournament in the group stage has averaged around 900,000 viewers, with a peak viewership of 1.84 million, between a match between Korea's Gen G and China's LGD. I interviewed Ryan Lusich, the graduate assistant for UNT Esports, to talk about what Worlds is and what it means to him as a fan, and what it means to UNT Esports as a whole.
I think the professional scene for other teams such as us, the collegiate teams, the amateur teams, we really rely on professional play to look at different strategies, look at different champion picks, and things like that. So we always encourage our players to get involved with the professional scene and get excited about it. You know, maybe they pick a team that they can follow or some players. They aren't like a diehard like professional scene fan. They can still really enjoy watching Worlds. So it's a way to get our players more engaged at the higher level of play and kind of see some of the things that players in their roles are doing.
The knockout stage will begin on October 15th and will conclude on October 31st. You can find all the action and any games you may have missed on lolesports.com. This has been Edward Brady, and I'm reporting for ntTV Sports.
Be sure to check out UNT Esports on Twitter at UNT Esports and tune into ntTV News for more updates on the tournament from Edward. And that's all I have for sports. Back to you, Edison.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, now, Michaela, I know you have a sweet tooth. In fact, you have a spot for pie, just about any kind of pie. But you know me, well, I'm a bacon man. Give me bacon and I'm a happy camper. So you can understand why I'm so excited about this story. I can now have a COVID protection mask that lets me smell bacon. The folks at Homer call it the Black Label Breathable Bacon Mask. It's free, which is great, but it's a limited edition, so I'll have to go over to their website, breathablebacon.com. So now, Michaela, if you want one too, you have until October 28th to register. I think I need a bacon fix for dinner tonight. What do you think?
I think that if they make a pie smelling mask, I will be first in line, especially pumpkin.
That's right. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.